Hello, welcome. First chatters, welcome. How's everybody doing? What up, motherfuckers? How you doing? Hi, how are ya? Hi, Chris Valenti, nice to meet you. Hey there. Hi, how are ya? Good, you? I'm doing as good as I can be while I watch my nation fucking crumble. I mean, every day since Trump has been inaugurated, some crazy ass shit has happened. But the past couple of days and the next couple of days, it is exponentially increased. By July 4th, this nation will look entirely different. I mean that. I fucking mean that. Yes, sir. Welcome to the latest meeting of the OAL. How y'all doing? We got a lot to unpack. Today. We're gonna get that shit up and running. Peak anxiety for 3 days straight. Welcome to the club, motherfucker. Making a meatloaf, trying not to crash out, brother. I find it hard to eat nowadays. I'm not even fucking kidding. I find it hard to eat. You know what I'm saying? You guys, anybody going through that too? Oh, it's hard to fucking get an appetite. Anyway. I'll give you guys a little, No, it's not about affording to eat. It's about, like, finding an appetite. God, my hair looks good. I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek into what we're making this video on. So, I don't know if you heard, but the Trump administration froze $2 billion worth of funding to Harvard University after giving Harvard this new guideline that they needed to create an anti-Semitic task force to, quote-unquote, root out the anti-Semitism embedded within Harvard. And by that, they mean to find, target, arrest, and deport all of the students at Harvard University who participated in pro-Palestinian protests. So we're going to talk about that. And Harvard pretty much told him to go fuck himself. Harvard president, I forgot the guy's name, he came out and said, we're not fucking doing that. You got no say here. We're a private institution. So then Trump doubled down, and he took away their tax exemption status, which is, excuse me, it's one of the ways that Harvard uses their money to do research, medical research. So Trump took away $2 billion worth of funding for their and then took away their tax exemption. And then we're going to watch Caroline Leavitt's response. How you doing, Jack? Then we're going to transition over into the Gestapo, ICE, and their never-ending crusade and how they just fucking beat the shit out of this guy. We're going to talk about the Trump administration arresting a new Columbia University student protester during his naturalization hearing. He finally got to the day where he was going to become a citizen, and right as he walked into the building to go become a U.S. citizen, ICE rounded him up. This is the kid here. We're going to talk about his interview with 60 Minutes. Yes, he was interviewed by 60 Minutes. Then we're going to cover Stop Anti-Semitism's reaction to it. And we're going to read a little bit of Israeli propaganda so that you guys can get a real comprehensive understanding of what we're up against. That sound good? I feel like that'll do for a video. That'll do. Yeah? For today's video. Hey, Prophet just became a loyalist. Oh, no, Prophet's been a loyalist. Somebody gifted him. All right. That sound good for you guys? Sounds good for me. Beanie. Oh, hold on. 1 second. You okay, Beans? Bean? Oh, jeez. All right. Let's fucking do this. Fuck it. Hey there, ladies, gentlemen, and MBs. America continues to collapse. Today, Trump has begun assaulting colleges and universities, which, to be frank, the GOP and the Conservative Party have been attacking education in and of itself for something like fucking 8 years now, trying to say that education is actually indoctrination. We've seen the dismantling of the Department of Education. We've seen Oklahoma schools forcing the Bible to be mandatory reading for all public school students. The Republican Party does not like higher education because, as statistics have proven time and time again, the more educated you are, the less likely you are to vote for Republican policies, okay? This is just statistics. Facts don't care about your fucking feelings. You can look up the map of education rates in the United States, and then you can look up who votes who. And you know what it is? The higher educated states are all the blue states. But regardless, the Trump administration kind of did this crazy thing where they gave these new guidelines to private universities, one of which being Harvard. And as we all know, most politicians in the United States are bought out by AIPAC, the Israel lobby. Donald Trump is no different. Benjamin Netanyahu has him by the fucking balls, okay? Every time Benjamin Netanyahu comes to the Oval Office, Trump pulls out that fucking chair for him like a good boy. But because they are beholden to Israel, the Trump regime has decided to give this new policy to Harvard University, which is that they must create an anti-Semitic task force to, audit the students and find the anti-Israeli students and then report them to ICE so they can be detained, arrested, and sent to the El Salvadorian extermination camp. Well, Harvard University said, well, go fuck yourself. We're not fucking doing that. I don't give a shit. We're not fucking doing that. And because of that, the Trump regime froze $2 billion worth of federal funding that went to Harvard University for their medical research programs. Now, I don't know if you know this. Probably you do. Harvard University is perhaps the most well-known university in the United States of America, and it is definitely one of the leading institutions in terms of medical research, okay? Now, MAGA, if you're here, if you're watching, I'm certain you love this nation. I hope you do. And part of loving this nation is wanting our nation to be innovative and to lead the world in, manufacturing, but especially in research. We want the best of the best coming over to the United States so they can get a great education and so that they can help boost the infrastructure and the medical research and the life expectancy and everything. But no, not this regime. The Trump regime is very anti-science. They are anti-facts. What's wrong, Luigi? Oh, she can't reach her toy. There you go. There's your toy. The Trump regime is anti anything that opposes, Project 2025, and that is science in and of itself. So let's just get straight to the articles. Let's get straight to the meat and potatoes and start reading here. So the Trump administration freezes $2 billion after Harvard rejects demands. Luigi, you cut the shit. The administration's demands included auditing viewpoints of the student body to address anti-Semitism at the expense of federal funding. The federal government on Monday night said it was freezing more than $2 billion. Let me zoom in. Said it was freezing more than $2 billion in grants to Harvard University after the school said it would not accept Trump administration demands that included auditing viewpoints of the student body. So this is straight up just fascist shit. This is like, hey, you are not allowed to attend Harvard University if you do not hold the same viewpoints and opinions as the State Department. So fascism showed up a while ago. Nazism has arrived. The administration's Joint Task Force to Combat Anti-Semitism announced the cuts in a statement that called out, quote, the troubling entitlement mindset that is endemic in our nation's most prestigious universities and colleges. It said that $2.2 billion in multi-year grants and $60 million in multi-year contract value would be frozen to the Ivy League university. Earlier on Monday, Harvard rejected the administration's demands. Quote, the university will not surrender its independence or relinquish its constitutional rights, the university's X account said in a Monday statement. Quote, neither Harvard nor any other private university can allow itself to be taken over by the federal government. So, I'm certain maybe you've heard this before. There's a famous quote from Hitler, which is, he who controls the youth controls the future. Trump loves fucking Mein Kampf. Trump loves Hitler. The entire administration around him loves Hitler, and they understand that if they can get a vice grip on the youth, I'm not kidding, I do believe Trump wants to create a Trump youth program similar to the Hitler youth program. If they can get control of the youth, then they can breed a new generation of nationalists within this nation. And when you combine that with the dismantling of the Department of Education, you give the power back to the states for like the K through 12 education, then you can create a new branch of Christian nationalists. What did I tell you earlier? Oklahoma forces the Bible, public school reading on all students, even if you're Muslim or Jewish, it don't fucking matter. This is how you create jingoistic attitudes, right? And jingoism just means that you're like extremely nationalist. But again, the same people who bitch and moan about like they're indoctrinating our kids by giving them fucking sex education. These are the same people who are okay with teaching young children, hey, if you ever masturbate, your hands will fall off and you will burn in eternal hellfire. That's the same people. So anyway, let's keep on reading. In an email to the Harvard community, President Alan M. Garber said the university received, quote, an updated and expanded list of demands from the White House administration, warning it to comply if it would like to, quote, maintain financial relationship with the federal government. So the Trump administration, or regime, my apologies, is now just blackmailing private institutions like Harvard University to try and force their fascist education program onto them. And the funniest part about this is this has nothing to do with America. It has everything to do with Israel. This is all about Israel. If you ever needed proof that fucking Israel completely and entirely controls the United States government, this is your fucking proof. I'm actually getting a phone call right now. I'm going to have to ignore that. Let me tell him. I'll call him back. Call you after I'm live. Anyway, let's keep reading. President Donald Trump took to Truth Social on Tuesday to call for Harvard to lose its tax-exempt status after their refusal to comply with the demands. Perhaps Harvard should lose its tax-exempt status and be taxed as a political entity if it keeps pushing political, ideological, and terrorist-inspired /supporting sickness. Remember, tax-exempt status is totally contingent on acting in the public interest, Trump wrote. Trump wrote. So let's see these 10 demands. All right, let's see. Here are the 10 demands that the Trump administration has given Harvard University and all private universities. 1. Governance and leadership reforms. Harvard must make meaningful government reforms restructuring to make possible major change consistent with this letter, including fostering clear lines of authority and accountability. What is this? All right, whatever. Merit-based hiring program. Okay, so meritocracy, it does not exist, but this is just an attack on DEI. Merit-based admissions reform, so DEI again. International admissions reform. Let's see, so no more accepting, I guess, foreign students. Let's see. Any foreign student who commits a conduct violation. Let's see. Must reform its recruiting. Okay, so yeah, just more and more screening. Viewpoint diversity in admissions hearings. Let's see. What does this say? Viewpoint diversity. Each department, field, or teaching unit must be individually viewpoint diverse. Commission an external party which shall satisfy the federal government. Okay, so this is just like an audit program to make sure that Harvard University is pro-Trump. Harvard must abolish all criteria, preferences, and practices, whether mandatory or optional. Throughout this admission, hiring practices, functions no longer litmus test. Every department and field. Okay, so yeah, they're just trying to completely and totally control education in this nation. So after Harvard University told Trump to go fuck himself, Trump fired back by threatening, as you just saw, to get rid of their tax-exempt status, okay? President Donald Trump has called for Harvard University to lose a valuable tax break hours after his administration announced that it's freezing more than $2 billion in federal funds for the elite institution. The White House has demanded the oldest university in the United States make changes in hiring, admissions, and teaching practices, which it says will help fight anti-Semitism on the campus. Now, all this is about is restoring, like, a government grasp over education. This is all about, like, how they're like, oh, this is, all education is indoctrination. People go to college and they come out liberals. Well, yeah, that's because people go to college and they learn empathy, and they're also forced to, experience college with people from all different backgrounds and ethnicities. It's really just about exposing yourself. The same thing will happen if you just go to New York City. You don't need to go to college to become like a fucking normal empath. All you got to do is spend a month in New York City and you'll be forced to experience all these different cultures. And if you come out of that racist, well, that's just because your parents were fucking weak. So, I mean, listen, since returning to office, Trump has pushed to reshape top universities by threatening to withhold federal funds that are mostly designated for research. Most of the money that Harvard got from the government was used for medical research. But again, medical research is directly antithetic to the Trump administration's beliefs because they don't believe in science or fucking germ theory. So real quick, I want to cover Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary and the cunt in chief. She was asked about this, and I want to listen to her response.
And we've interviewed you as well. So Caroline, thanks so much for having me here on behalf of our readership and the millions of Americans who I think appreciate what you're doing with the new media seat here and making this a more accessible briefing room. I'm curious with Harvard, we saw the Trump administration today announce it's cutting around $2 billion, or freezing $2 billion in funds to Harvard because the campus has serious problems with violence and with anti-Semitism.
This is complete fucking bullshit. Harvard University does not have a fucking anti-Semitic violent problem. These fucking people are acting like they're students chasing down Jews in Harvard University going, "You get out of here, Jew!" That's not fucking happening. When they talk about anti-Semitism or violence against Jews, what they simply mean are anti-Israel genocide protests. That protesting against the Israeli genocide of the Palestinian people that has slaughtered more than 200,000 civilians, simply by doing that, you are anti-Semitic. Not to mention the Jewish students who are also participating in those protests. Turns out they're also anti-Semitic. Oh, I'm sorry, they're just not real Jews. My bad.
We saw President Obama, former President Obama, side with Harvard, which rejected the Trump administration's demands. I'm curious, where does the administration see this going with Harvard and with other colleges and universities in America that are refusing to reform in wake of the sort of craziness that we've seen take over some of them?
The craziness. They don't even have the balls to say the anti-Israeli protests.
Thank you, Matt, for being here, and thanks for the question. When it comes to Harvard, the president's position on this is grounded in common sense.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's grounded in common sense.
in the basic principle that Jewish American students or students of any faith should not be illegally harassed and targeted on our nation's college campuses. And we unfortunately saw that illegal discrimination take place on the campus of Harvard. There are countless examples to prove it.
Such as?
Particularly with the stunning confession by then Harvard President Claudine Gay, who said that bullying and harassment depended on the context.
Yeah, it does, because if I chant something like, Palestine will be free from the river to the sea, and a Jewish student says, that's bullying and harassment, guess what? No, it isn't. Fuck you, snowflake. No, it isn't. Even, brother, even if somebody was like, hey, I like what happened on October 7th. Personally, I don't. But if somebody said that, that's not bullying and harassment. That's the fucking First Amendment, okay? The same way that you fucking MAGA chuds are always saying, oh, well, the Holocaust didn't happen. There was only 271 Jewish people in all of Europe at the time. Yeah, listen. The same way that you're allowed to say that, these people are allowed to protest against Israel. Unless, as we've seen, the Republicans are finally going to admit that they don't believe in the First Amendment, and they believe in rules for thee and not for me. That is, at the end of the day, what they do believe in.
The president at that time made it clear to the American public he was not going to tolerate illegal harassment and anti-Semitism taking place in violations of federal law. So the president made
Trump is not, definitely, he doesn't allow anti-Semitism. Meanwhile, he hired Marjorie Taylor Greene, who said that there were Jewish space lasers lighting Hawaii on fire because the great Jewish cabal wants to destroy the United States. That's not anti-Semitic, though, but saying free Palestine. Now that makes you a fucking Nazi.
Made it clear to Harvard, follow federal law, no longer break Title VI, which was passed by Congress to ensure no student can be discriminated against on the basis of race, and you will receive federal funding. Unfortunately, Harvard has not taken the president or the administration's demands seriously. All the president is asking, don't break federal law, and then you can have your federal funding. I think the president is also begging a good question. More than $2 billion out the door to Harvard when they have a more than $50 billion endowment. Why are the American taxpayers subsidizing a university that has billions of dollars in the bank already?
For medical research, Caroline, because there are some things in R&D, research and development, that do not have a return on investment. For example, Caroline Levitt, you laminated-faced cunt, cancer research. There's no return on investment for cancer research. You will pour in tens of millions of dollars into researching cancer to make some sort of treatment that doesn't necessarily cure cancer, but it does work. It helps, slow the inevitable doom, right? Now, if you don't let the federal government, if the federal government is not funding these research and development institutions, the medical research at Harvard University or other Ivy League universities, well, that means that you are expecting the private sector to gobble that up. Well, no sane fucking person in the private sector would absorb R&D that doesn't have a return on investment. That is what the fucking federal government is for. Doing things like, the seed bunker. You guys know about the seed bunker, right? We have all of our seeds on ice somewhere in a bunker so that if there's ever some natural disaster that wipes out our crops, we can start fresh. Well, there's no return on it. It costs a fuckload of money to maintain that bunker, but it's for the greater good of the people. Now, I know this, maybe you don't, but Doge already defunded the entire seed bunker program and fired all 1,700 scientists. So if there is some sort of natural disaster that wipes out our crops, we do not have those seeds anymore. Thanks, Elon Musk. Mein Führer.
And we certainly should not be funding a place where such grave anti-Semitism exists.
And I'm curious, you had just mentioned Rachel Morin and
So, you heard it straight from the horse bitch's mouth herself. Now, we're going to do a quick transition here. While Harvard University and Trump are in their battle, The Gestapo is still hard at work. We're talking about ICE here. We've got federal agents cornering a Venezuelan man in New Hampshire courthouse elevator. So I want you to watch this just so you can understand who these ICE agents are. If you have a family member in ICE, fuck them. All ICE members are Gestapo Nazi fucks, and I wish them the worst. So let's watch as they barrel over an elderly man with a cane, probably breaking his hip, while playing undercover in the elevator. Let's just watch this. You guys aren't going to fucking believe this. This shit got me so angry. So here's the rat ICE agents getting ready to enter. Or maybe that guy wasn't one of the rats. Let's find out. But here's our guy, our Venezuelan guy here. Now, watching this, you're like, oh, it's just a whole bunch of people getting in an elevator, right? Well, no. Turns out these two rats are actually members of the Gestapo. These two are Nazis. These two old guys, they're just, here for some sort of reason. They let them go. Hey, hold on, buddy. Hey, come here. I want to talk to you. Yeah, we have a warrant for your arrest here. Buddy tries to leave the elevator, as he fucking should. Why the fuck are these rat bastards cornering him in a fucking elevator? That is the scariest shit I've ever fucking seen. Now, let's keep watching. He runs. Bang! ICE agents knock down this old man, probably break his fucking hip. He's lying there screaming. Now, note while these Gestapo Nazi fucks do absolutely nothing to help the old man, but make sure that they get their zip ties around this dangerous, dangerous man here. Still sitting there, writhing in pain. Let's watch the tackle again. Down he goes. None of them give a fuck. None of them give a fuck about the old man writhing in pain. And then at the same time, we've got the Trump administration is arresting more Columbia University students, but this time they got him at his naturalization hearing. Now, you're probably wondering, what the fuck is a naturalization hearing? Well, this guy that the Gestapo detained and blackbagged today, he was actually finally walking into his meeting to become a U.S. citizen. But the Gestapo got to him before he could do that, because God forbid he becomes a tax-paying member of the United States. Over the weekend, I detailed the immigration court ruling that former Columbia student and lawful permanent resident Mahmoud Khalil could be deported based on the conclusion of Secretary of State Marco Rubio, yada, yada, yada. On Monday in Vermont, immigration agents detained Mohsen Mandawi, Khalil's close associate and co-founder of him on the radical Columbia University Apartheid Divest Organization. Madawi, who is also an LPR, was arrested when he arrived at the federal office building for a naturalization proceeding. I've got, here just so you can understand, the guy that they're talking about is such a prominent member of the pro-Palestinian community that he was actually interviewed on 60 Minutes. We're going to watch this.
What was your initial reaction?
You see this kid here? This is the kid. You know what? Before we watch this, how about we watch this? Watch him get black-bagged here. Went in here for his immigration hearing to become a citizen. Wearing masks to hide their identities because they know they're fucking Nazis. And there they go. Nobody will see that man again. Now, let's watch what he said in 60
When
Minutes.
you heard about the... What was your initial reaction when you heard about the Hamas attack on October 7th?
I could not believe what my eyes were seeing, where I see Hamas members getting into settlements and so on. But also the first moment I saw that, I put my hand on my heart. And I started praying, knowing that there will be a huge level of revenge from the Israelis. And I was praying that this will not be the result, because it would be disastrous.
The night of the rally, I believe someone in the crowd said something very anti-Jewish, not just anti-Israeli, but anti-Jewish.
Yes, this was as a walkout on November 9th. And a person who is not affiliated with Colombia, we've never seen him. We don't know who is this guy.
He's a federal agent. This is what they do. This is what they will do on April 19th on the final protest before Trump invokes the Insurrection Act. Federal agents are embedded within every single organization, okay, including the pro-Palestinian movement. And the whole point is to defame them and to make them look anti-Semitic. And that's what that man was. It was a federal agent designed to be on camera and to make the entire movement look anti-Semitic. This is how they've been building this case for the past year against all of these people.
Comes down the stairs yelling, "Death to Jews." I was shocked, and I walked directly to the person and I told him, "You don't represent us because this is not something that we agree with." And directly what I've done, I took the megaphone and I gave a speech and I said, "We here are conscious, educated students, and we know how to separate right from wrong. And what this guy has said is wrong. What this guy has said is clearly anti-Semitic against Jews."
Anti-Semitic.
This is the guy that was just black-bagged, kidnapped, and disappeared by the Gestapo for being anti-Semitic. Now, again, I need to remind you, because we cannot allow this to become normalized, this has nothing to do with American national security. It has everything to do with Israel's national security. The Trump regime is bought out by Bibi Netanyahu, and they will do whatever the Israelis ask them to.
To be anti-Semitic is unjust. And the fight for the freedom of Palestine and the fight against anti-Semitism go hand in hand, because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Yes, indeed it is. Indeed it is. Now, what I do want to show you is the difference between the coverage when it comes to this. This is called StopAntisemitism.org. It is straight up AIPAC Israeli propaganda. It's some of the most abhorrent shit you'll ever see. And I want to show you the way that Israelis paint this man. Okay, so you just watched the interview. You saw what I saw. Now let's listen to the way that these fucking Nazis spew it. Mohsen Madawi, an anti-Israel activist, so immediately, right off the rip, they won't call him a pro-Palestinian activist. He's an anti-Israeli activist who has no income-producing job, yet manages to be a student for nearly 16 years at elite universities like Columbia, openly advocates for the destruction of Israel and justifies Hamas terrorism. He actively participates in the radical anti-Israel movement and serves as co-president of Columbia's Palestinian Student Union, DAR, an organization advocating for the end of Israel. That's absolutely not what they advocate for. Madawi has openly expressed support for eliminating Israel, leading protests with chants such as, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." Read that again. Madawi has openly expressed support for eliminating Israel with chants such as, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." So what they're saying is, if you say, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," you are saying through proxy, "I support the elimination of Israel." What? What? I'm sorry. What? Madawi's past glorification of terrorism exemplified by a poem that said, "I will breathe home and fill my shame and clean my gun and collect my packages, my bombs, and embrace my gun." I guarantee you they cut this fucking poem out of context. The poem also praised terrorist Dalal Mughrabi, who perpetuated the 1978 Coastal Road Massacre, which murdered numerous Jews. Additionally, his involvement in rallies advocating for divestment from Israel and promoting terms like global intifada, known for its association with violence, raises questions about his true intentions and agenda. So this goes on. I mean, let's just finish reading it. In an interview with a local New England newspaper on October 22nd, 2023, Madawi sadly attempted to justify Hamas terrorism as a reaction to Israeli occupation, echoing sentiments often employed to legitimize violence against Israel. He and other anti-Israel student groups at Columbia issued a statement suggesting that resistance, a term often euphemized for terrorism. So apparently just the Columbia University student sit-in, that was just straight up terrorism, is justified in the face of what they perceive as political deadlock. However, this justification overlooks the heinous acts committed by Hamas, such as October 7th, 2023 terror attacks, which resulted in numerous civilian casualties and atrocities, including mass murder, beheadings, rape, and kidnapping. During a televised interview on 60 Minutes in December of 2023, Madawi attempted to downplay the severity of Hamas attacks by likening them to a mere punch in the face and expressing empathy toward the perpetrators. So what they're probably talking about is how, like, a lot of people have done this before. Oh, we lost focus? Why did we lose focus? Sorry about that. They're talking about is how people compare like what October 7th was to the reaction from Israel is like punching somebody in the face and then them shooting you. That's essentially, and that is a great comparison. I mean, the Palestinians are notoriously known for throwing rocks, and the IDF have fucking nuclear weapons. So if that's too much of a comparison for you, sorry, you're just a weak little baby. His attempt to rationalize terrorism as a response to perceived grievances further underscores his concerning stance. Overall, Madawi's actions and rhetoric reflect a persistent and alarming commitment to anti-Israel activism, characterized by justifying terrorism, glorifying violence, and promoting efforts aimed at the dismantling of Israel. Such behavior not only perpetuates conflict, but also undermines efforts toward peace and coexistence in the region. Well, that was a whole bunch of fucking bullshit. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. I'm going to fucking eat dinner and shower now that I've done that. Listen, guys. You're entering the end game. This is the end game. Keep yourself safe. Keep those close to you safe. You got 5 days. You got 5 days until Donald Trump invokes the Insurrection Act of 1807. He's already creating a civilian army, 100,000 strong, designed to round up millions of dissidents and send them to processing camps that are controlled by the U.S. military before parsing through who will be deported and sent to the extermination camp in El Salvador. This is the end of America, but never stop fighting. I'll catch you in the next episode of the Valenti VOD. If you're watching this live, you stay. If you're watching this pre-recorded, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, watch that video on screen, and if you want to help the channel financially, go ahead and do that. Have a good one. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Let's get it up. Let's post it. There's a short live? Well, we ain't ended just yet, but it is going to be a short live. We're so fucked. We are so fucked. Chris, I'm scared? Good, you should be. If you're not scared, you're stupid. Being scared means you're alive. Nelson just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Nelson. And congratulations to everybody who just got a membership. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Nelson. Thank you very much, brother. We are on episode 86 now. Oh. You don't flee, Dino, you fight. Oh, people aren't ready for what's going to happen, bro. There's going to be a mass exodus of Americans, and Americans are going to try to leave the nation, and then they're going to realize how it feels to be a fucking refugee, because no nation is going to accept Americans. Who the fuck would want to accept Americans in mass? We are awful. Like, half of us will try to bring our fucking guns. No nation wants Americans in mass. Mary Dressel with the $5. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. We are God's chosen people. Yeah, brother. It chose you for a whole lot of shit. Certainly. What do we do? Survive. No, the camera's lagging for everybody. Don't worry, it'll fix itself. What do we got? All right, we need a title. I'm just going to go with straight up fucking clickbait propaganda. We're going to go with episode 86. Trump Trump assaults the First Amendment. No. Trump Youth Program the fascists are coming for your education. Nazi 101. Trump froze $2 billion of funding for Harvard. All right, Trump youth program, the fascists are coming for your education. That'll do. Yes, of course they want to lower education rates. The dumber that this population is, the more likely people will be to vote Republican. That's not my opinion. That is indisputable fact. The less educated you are, the more likely you are to support Republican policies. That is not my opinion. That is fact. Okay. Published. Video is published. Oh. Fucking Christ. I went to college for 2 weeks and became a DemSoc. That's how it is. Twain goes, it's time. This motherfucker, that's the guy who called me earlier. What did you want? He probably sent the text. What did you want? Dude, return to Moria, brother. Return to Moria, Twan. What do we got here? Hey, Valenti, I'm Jay. Nice to finally say something in chat. Hopefully you see this. I was Republican before the 2025 election, but I always saw the truth in your words. You changed my worldview. Really nice to see that, Mythic Gaming. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. You know, that's what it's all about, is I want people to remember, you know, I used to be a fucking Republican. I watched Steven Crowder and Charlie Kirk. I was racist, xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic, all those things. And I made my way out, so I believe I can help you guys make your way out, you know? You know what I'm saying? Oh! Peace out, Gecko. Oh, Talia, that beer in the fridge, I cracked that open a while ago. Cracked that open a while ago. No one is better, Dem or Republican. It's all rep aggressively attacking and Dems holding your hand while they let it happen. I guess. Valenti, why don't you read my comment? What was your comment? Let me scroll up. Whatever you commented, I haven't seen it. That's the first thing I've seen from you in, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. Oh, we've got, why do you attack us when we're the ones on the front lines fighting terrorists? Did you already forget 9/11 and all those verses that openly targeted non-Muslims? All those verses that openly targeted non-Muslims. What verses? What are you talking about? What verses? What do you? I don't even know what the fuck you mean. But yeah, no, I just I don't like the fact that you guys have bombed 200,000 civilians, most of which women and children. That's really it. Problem with MAGA is they indoctrinate you. When I was a Republican, I didn't know what I thought was wrong until it was explained to me. It actually is a cult. Well, yeah, it is a cult. As always, Valenti ignores the normal people and engages with the one genocidal freak in here. What? Put that fucker in the corner for 60 seconds so we can think about how much of a parasocial loser he's acting like. Bro, you literally voted for Netanyahu. Yeah, dude, and I'll do it again. I'll do it again. We love Bibi. We love Bibi. Oh, jeez. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream so I can play some games. Solnik, you want to play some games? Me, you, twin? Yeah? Yeah. Let's play some games. Let's play some games. And also, to my Israeli hate chatter. Dude, I'm dead ass probably a better Jew than you. And I'm not a Jew. Dead ass, bro. When we both croak and we make our way, I'm frankly certain Yashem is going to welcome me before he welcomes you, my boy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. Have a good one, folks.